Twitch and lichess. I'm International Master William Paschall. We're based in Budapest, Hungary. We being me. Good morning. It's Tuesday, May the 9th. We have about a week to prepare for our upcoming tournament in Zalakáros, Hungary. Haven't checked the list on chess results lately. I should see if any new players have joined the list, but I have the feeling it's that tournament is kind of like a limit to how many players can play. There's only so much space. I'm going to a big open tournament here in Hungary a week from, I think, tomorrow. Alright guys, welcome to our stream. We're going to be playing classical and blitz here. Our traditional rule that will play anything between 5+3 and 8+3 time controls with an increment between 3 and 5 seconds. It's up to you. Also possible to play Chess 960, up to 2 games of Chess 960 Blue Crow. Our moderator challenging me to Chess 960, so that's cool. Something a little different. Well, I haven't had too much time to follow what's going on in the chess world over the last week or two. I've been busy with doing my own chess lessons and doing the stream and whatnot. Blunder Knight, World Loser, what's up, guys? Have a good game today. World Loser always giving me trouble lately. We also have a challenge from Bong Ripper, who I think we played last week. Yeah, just one game so far. So after this intro, we're going to get started. Today's nothing, different as far as any kind of theme. We're just playing normal blitz and classical chess. I think I see somebody there. Looks like they're playing the 1 minute chess. Looks like somebody's playing the Latvian with black. It looks like a Latvian. I'm not sure. Maybe some other opening. But tomorrow is Weird Wednesday when I play unusual openings, so we could get something of that style. But I'm going to stick with my normal repertoires today. Our first challenger, Constant Change. Oh, he just dropped. There, he's back. Better accept his challenge before he drops again. Oh no, the board is so big. Why is my board like that? What in the world is going on with my board? It looks big. Why does it look bigger? Is something different, or is it my imagination? Is that board? Looks huge to me right now. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. Is this the way the board looked yesterday? Do you guys remember? Or does it look big? It looks a little bit big to me. I don't know. I can modify it here. It just feels a tiny bit too big. They changed it. They changed the. I just want to make it a little bit smaller. That feels better. I mean, it's possible I hit this new board geometry option when I was checking them out yesterday. The board just looked a little bigger than it was previously. I just wanted to make it a millimeter smaller. I don't know. That feels better. It's like, it also looked a little blurry. Might just be my vision. Oh, so Constant Change. We played him a lot. We're gonna throw a curveball. I don't know if I've ever played this line. Maybe I did back some months ago. I don't really know the theory too well, the transpositions to the Paulson type of positions here we can get. But I just wanted to throw something out there different to make Constant Change think a little bit, because he's very, very quick. And I hate playing one of the strongest players in the first game. Eat blueberries, kale, carrots. Oh, my eyes you're talking about, huh? Quiet setup with bishop e2. And Now the question arises, should I play e5? It looks mandatory now. It's kind of like a form of the O'Kelly variation with like 2a6. By the way, another interesting variation in and of itself. I was playing Queen b6, the Queen b6 Sicilian, for a time, maybe around 10 years ago. And sometimes you get this kind of situation where you can double the pawns on c3 in those lines. Queen b6 kind of felt like it got played out. Everybody was playing that for a while, and the theory sort of felt to be like everybody knew what they were doing at every level. No longer a surprise weapon. I don't like when openings, lose their surprise value. Then I don't see any more reason to play it. The problem is when you start picking up kind of trendy lines, and you're getting on the bandwagon a little too late with some kind of side variations and whatnot. Alright, so bishop takes c3, bishop takes bishop, Beal, milk. This is what people call me here. Beal. I had a friend whose wife was Serbian, and she used to call him Bili. Bili, play another game, Bili. Well, I think that we should probably seriously consider taking on c3. But on the other hand, you know what? Maybe the threat is stronger than the execution. Why should I take right away? Well, there is the probability that he'll play like knight to d5. What we don't want is a situation where the thing like blasts open and I give up the bishop and he's got two bishops in a kind of open position. For example, bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, knight takes e4, bishop takes e5. Looks like the kind of situation where it might start to get blown open, and that's not really what we want, giving up our bishop. d6 d6 looks like a reasonable try. Bili. I used to have really we're just going back to the comments in the Twitch chat. I used to have really good night vision, but I think that's gone the way of many things. I really need glasses, but I'm in denial. Wow, there's like really weird squawking geese sound coming from the sky. That's better than the ambulances we usually get. Yeah, getting my brain going in the morning. What did I eat this morning? 2 bananas and a handful of what are they called again? Pistachios. Yeah. All right. Knight takes d5. I opted for this. We don't smash his pawns. We don't get any real special pressure, but we do simplify the position to some degree. And we have a structure that can be favorable for black. Competing pawn majorities, kind of typical in the Najdorf. It's basically very Najdorf-like. Although I think objectively I pretty much about equalized. The confident sound of I pretty much about equalized. But here we have a big decision strategically. You know, do we want to create a blockade type of strategy where I play like a5 and just kind of try to carve out the c5 square as a knight outpost? Or do we want to try to play b5, artificially isolating his pawn on d5, trying to target that guy? Not so easy here, because he can undermine my structure with a4. That looks very, very nasty. Sorry for the deep breathing. I've been kind of coughing a lot and trying to repress the urge to cough here. Another possibility is actually trading another set of pieces. Maybe that's not a bad idea, objectively here. I don't have a lot of space, and there's a lot of pawns on board. 16 of them, in fact. Oh, I mean, 16. My math is good. There are 14 pawns on board. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 14 pawns on board. He blundered this. c4 now in this moment. Wow. I mean, unless he's turned into like the Black Death. He's just blundered this capture. There was this famous player, Joseph Henry Blackburn, who was one of the best players of his generation 100 years ago, and more than 100 years ago, in the late 1800s. And he was renowned top player in the world. He was actually a player who would occasionally do this on purpose to like open up pressure along the G file. Should I think about A5 maybe? It's a dark square blockade strategy that's very dear to my heart because I use it a lot in the Accelerated Dragon and other fun stuff. You like this for black. D5 has pawn on it. Well, you don't want to have like the open file being backwards. He played king h1. Probably I'll need, you know, a little bit of defense. On the dark squares. He's playing like obscenely fast here. Sorry. I've kind of an asthmatic thing. Not real asthma, but an asthmatic type of cough. So, to excuse me. I'm not really sick, but this has been ongoing since the last time I was. Constant Change playing really fast here. But I think we just have a good game. We could play f5. We could also just play g6. And other good stuff, like maybe knight c5 first. Excuse me, folks. He's really playing too fast. I don't know if Constant Change ever plays in tournament chess, but it probably would be good for him to slow down his game a little bit. Now f5. Also possible is g6, weakening my structure less. Queen h4 is interesting. I just don't really like, I don't know what I like here. Maybe king h8 would be a useful move even. I don't really want to let his queen in here. Alright, we have to slightly weaken my position. The time is really about like trying to win on time against me. I cry and complain about this all the time, but there's certain players who just insist on that's their only goal. I don't know if they just do it to kind of troll me or what the point is really. We don't want him to checkmate me. The idea was just temporarily sacrifice this pawn. Now he can think about it. It's kind of a pity to trade the queens because the queen and knight combination is actually the best one for me. But he has too much pressure, generating too much pressure there. All three pieces coordinated. Very vital stuff. Looking for combinations here. I do have rook e1 check, take, take, and then rook check. Bishop e4, for example, f5 is game over. He can't do something like that. I mean, he could do it, but it's not good. So basically his only chance is to win by time, I guess. But it's very hard to do that with increment. And that's why it's better to take your time and try to play good moves instead of just playing for the clock. You know, my stream is not about playing for time. It's actually the opposite. I try to encourage people to use the time. I mean, 8+3 is a long time control. You're not going to find a lot of people willing to play that time control on streams, and it's a very thoughtful amount of time. Not enough, of course, compared to like playing in tournament chess, but seemingly the best we can do here. Bishop e4 just not very effective. Just winning 6 waves from Sunday. His rook is trapped. I can just like walk my king up and eat it. Now it's not trapped any longer. We'll just have to improve the position. But that bishop is the bishop of death, basically. This is a non-entity. It's still not going to be that easy to finish him off. Okay, I just didn't have enough time to win it. It's a really, really bad game for white. That's just the antithesis of what the stream is about. You know, trying to play for time, but whatever. All right. Let's try to play a little bit faster, I guess. Absolutely crushing position for me. At the end, maybe I'm worse, which is really sad. Really sad. King's Indian. I'm pre-moving. We'll transpose to an English symmetrical. He always plays the same setup, and we had this once maybe. I've played different stuff, mostly e6, knight e7 type of structures. It validated his strategy, dude. Okay, well, when he scores 0 points in his next tournament, it's not going to validate his strategy. You don't get it, do you? It's not about winning blitz games here, you know. I have students who don't play any tournament games, and they score very, very badly in tournaments because all they do is play blitz, and the longest time control they play is 8+3. You know, that's not going to validate anything. He's never going to improve as a chess player. That's what I'm talking about. Not winning or losing games. I didn't validate his strategy. You don't get the point. You know, it's about getting stronger as a chess player. That's the problem. His rating on lichess might go up, but he'll never improve as a tournament player in serious chess. I mean, it's not about winning games on lichess or any other site on time. It's about playing better chess. He had a lost position for like the last 30 moves. That's not something anybody should be proud of or really, you know, be excited for. I mean, it's not validating anything. It's very offensive, this comment. But if you're watching my stream and you don't understand what the point is, I don't understand why bother. I mean, so I had a game like this, let's see, back in 1999 against Gregory Kaidana, but I was white. And I think that black actually, might have played knight c7 or bishop d7, I'm not sure. But bishop h6 here, this kind of a weird strategy in this line, I think. I mean, you see it in the closed Sicilian. White's king is still in the center, and he could try to attack with like h4, h5. But we had a similar game yesterday. I just don't think this is dangerous. Not really dangerous. Almost identical to yesterday. My knights are on slightly different squares. Spinal Tap, what's up, man? You're going to sleep in like 30 minutes. He's on the challenge list? Yeah, he joined the challenge list. Wow. You're kicking it with a rating like mine. He's 2,600 in blitz. That's respectable. Respectable. Sorry for shouting. I got a little excited. But anyway, the other day I had this discussion here about, you know, winning and losing, and I mean, it's important to everybody winning or losing, but it's nice to win, but it's not the main point, you know. We want to improve our game. I mean, you can play hundreds of thousands of bullet chess games and never become a better player. But as long as you're having fun, that's the important thing, right? It all does depend on your goals. I'm sure we have different goals. Hit the bank in a KC stream. What does that mean? What do you mean? What does hitting the bank in a King Crusher stream mean? Should I consider taking with the knight here? I don't think so. I mean, I have too many weaknesses around the dark squares. What's up, Spinal Tap? No, Triumph, you didn't offend me. Just I get provoked with people making comments that encourage people to do that, you know, or kind of like reward the people for playing for time, you know. But I can't say you offended me. It's not fair. You have your right to say what you want to say. It's just against my whole purpose for doing the stream. Basically, is trying to get better as a player, and we're not going to be able to do that. And I try to like pound it through people's heads, but they don't want to listen. You know, you got to think if you want to get better. Winning games on time is not going to make you a better player. I want to improve too. I'd like to play, you know, standard games, but maybe we should think about this. Nah, my bishop will get hung out there. I think if I play bishop g4, it's similar to yesterday's game, but my knight was on e7 in yesterday's game. in pretty much the same exact position. And the difference seems to be favorable to white. I have no, protection for my rook on f8. My knight's a little harder to get into the game, to go to like c7. I talked about this yesterday. I really hate playing against the closed Sicilian. It's not like the open line's the Sicilian at all. It's like a completely different opening. Anyway, guys, what's up? Blue Crow, our moderator, he's going to challenge me to 5+5. Chess 960 is fun. So we have bad pieces. Knight on e8. The famous Russian chess trainer Mark Dvoretsky talked about always the principle of the worst piece. And it's pretty obvious what my worst piece is here. Knight on d5 is very dominant. We could leave it there, but the longer we leave it there, the more likely it is to do some damage. So I generally like to try to get rid of these things before they do any damage. What about taking on e2 though? Should I consider that? It feels like he's almost a tempo up. I mean, a lot of you guys didn't see the game yesterday. It feels like he's almost a tempo up on yesterday's game. He's actually taking his time, which is cool. The problem is knight c7, knight takes d4, c takes d4, queen b4. I'm a little bit worried about that. There, maybe I could play something weird like knight e6, but I don't like leaving his knight in a dominant position. Objectively, the position is equal. I don't really see anything better than this. I could consider trading on e2 myself first. I'm not sure. I mean, it seems like a pity to trade on, rather than getting my own strong pawn, letting him take on d4 and bringing a strong pawn to d4. But at the same time, when he does this knight takes d4, c takes d4, he also gets access to attacking like my d6 pawn, gets his queen active on b4. That's a square where he happened to put his queen yesterday, so it's really right in the, in the front of my mind. Pukro says, what? Oh no. Someone got banned. Computer gives that equal evaluation. Well, the position was relatively equal, I think. The question is now, as I said earlier, I was thinking about knight e6, knight c5 in the event of queen b4. If I had like a million moves in a row, knight e6, knight c5, a5, bishop e6, bishop takes d5, we could have a position very similar to what I just had last game against Constant Change, like an ending where he has a bad white squared bishop against a strong knight outposted on c5. But the question is, do I have time to execute, this kind of plan? If he really wants to be on the safe side, he can play knight takes knight here. Now we have to be on the safe side, the proverbial safe side. Knight takes d5, queen takes a7. Looks like he's trying to win a... Knight takes d5, queen takes a7, knight e3, queen takes b8, knight takes g2 with 2 pieces for a rook. There was the possibility of knight a6 there, but it looks really sort of weak. It's not a very exciting game when I'm facing the closed Sicilian. I guess I have to just find time to study this opening even more deeply. I don't think he, actually I don't know if he listens to the stream or not. While he's playing is what I'm saying, obviously. So, I'm figuring he didn't anticipate me doing some kind of crazy thing where I'm going to try to trap his queen. But I mean, queen traps here look very plausible. The question is knight e3, queen takes b8, knight takes g2, when you can't recapture because of bishop h3 check. But, at the end of the day there, it's kind of unclear. Wow, there's some crazy lines here. Queen b6. Queen takes b8. Should be able to trap his queen somehow, but then I lose my knight. All these weird tactics with like c5. I don't know. Knight e3, queen takes b8. If I try to trap his queen, then something like queen b6, he has c5, for example. Really nasty trick. And, so I don't really know what to do. I forgot what I was going to do. It's very bad. I actually forgot what I was going to do. Oh, yeah. All right. I don't know, Aldisto. I don't think this is good for me. Man, I blundered. This is like the worst move ever, bishop d7. I thought it was a draw by rep. All right. It's kind of an unofficial disaster. I have no idea what's going on. I spent all this time and came up with empty. Man, it's so depressing. I'm sure that this was good for me somewhere. Oh my god. It's an absolute disaster. What am I doing? That's what I'm doing. Very lucky. Terrible mistakes. I think I was winning when he played this queen grab on a7, but I couldn't think straight. I kept thinking in circles, and I had probably more than one good line here, in fact. Chose like the worst possible variation in this position. My original variation is the best move according to the computer, but I was unconvinced by this at the end of the day. I thought, I'm not really threatening anything, and it looks like his rooks, you know, with breaks like this. I wasn't that optimistic about that. I mean, this was my first idea, but materially, I'm only up 2 pieces for rook and, 2 pieces for rook and pawn. And I thought that he had something like this, yeah, like taking apart my structure. Wasn't sure what's really going on. The computer says it's +2. And I thought forever here. The other move was queen b6, which I couldn't really figure out. Queen takes b8, and again, I was like worried about this. The c5 happening in some lines. Like, I can try to trap his queen. I looked at stuff like this, but he just sacks his queen on f8. And it's not really clear again. Like 2 rooks for a queen. So here in this position, I just thought I was making a draw by repetition, actually. I thought it's like a forced draw. The computer thinks you should take with the c pawn. And then e takes. And so I thought this was a draw, like a rep draw, but then I realized he has queen a6, queen takes d6. But it turns out it's not so bad for me because of this trick. He can't really take on d6. White's only clearly better here, not winning. Oh well. It was a funny game, at least. Blunder Knight says he takes d is odd. I kind of agree, like it seemed like the c file would be an additional kind of useful piece to White's counterplay, along the c line, c7, c5 lines. Yeah, that was a weird recapture, but he was already in really bad time pressure by that point. Okay, so World Loser played d4. Try to keep it hyper modern, keep him a little bit off balance. Or Loser like constant change. Wow, he played e4. He's super fast. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me here. Once I played that move against Foigle Igor, Igor Foigle, an old nemesis of mine, very strong Grandmaster strength, international master, originally from Ukraine. He lives in the United States since like 20 years now, or more. Probably more, like 25. But Foigle plays the modern. I played f4 against him. It wasn't pretty what happened to me. I'm not going to just transpose to the, like Peert's. I mean, that's kind of what I was hoping when I played Foigle. Oh, he'll just let me transpose to the Peert's Austrian attack. Life isn't that easy. So I think here we have a good c3 Sicilian type of position where, or if you want to call it a Gurgenidze type of Caro-Kann structure, it looks like a fairly decent version for black. Yeah, Plukro, last game, you can understand white trying to extend the scope of his bishop on g2. I agree. But as happens often to me lately, I spend a lot of time and I start thinking in circles. I think I need to go back to think like a grandmaster. The book written by what's his name now? Kotov. Anyway, this is kind of typical Gurgenidze Caro-Kann type structure. For those of you that don't know, I'm an international master living in Budapest, Hungary. I'm American. I originally came from the United States, lived a long time in Boston. Obviously, if I'm American, I came from the United States, but I originally came from Philadelphia. I moved to Boston. So those are the three places I've really been located in my life: Philadelphia, Boston, and Budapest, Hungary. I've had most of my chess growth took place Boston and here. H3 looks like a highly accurate move. Get my bishop outside the pawn chain, but how? I don't think I can anymore. Problem bishop. Wow. I guess I just have to live with the bishop on c8. Just gonna have to live with this pawn. It's totally Freudian. But there is this pawn though too. We could attack it with bishop h6. It's kind of weird. No, I'm just gonna play fast here. We're gonna live with this pawn inside my pawn chain. It's a pawn on the back rank. I know that's illegal, but sometimes it happens. Emanuel Lasker said a funny thing about pieces that are hemmed in and condemned to a very passive role. He said that when they come out very powerfully, and I've noticed this to be accurate. Pieces that are like this bishop on c8 or bad knights, oftentimes when they do start to enter the game, they take on a very powerful role. This is a classic Gurgenidze Caro-Kann regrouping plan. Bishop f8, bishop e7. I've used this a lot actually in English opening type positions. This is a structure I sometimes get in the English opening as well. Yeah, I do speak Hungarian. I'm really like first grade level. But it's not too bad. I mean, Hungarian is a very, very difficult language. It doesn't seem like World Loser really has a plan here. Maybe I had better. I mean, I'm surprised how his rating is only 2,000. Let's see. Only 1,900 in Bullet and 2,100 in Blitz. Yet he's so fast. I've really had trouble against him over the last 15 games or so. Now it appears he's trying to play Knight A4, something of that ilk. Ilka Sinisalo. He was a hockey player for the Philadelphia Flyers. Maybe A5 even. My knight gets kind of stuck. It'd be very difficult to get it back in the game later on. Terrible cough. I don't understand it. Alright, I think we're going to need to regroup here. I don't like this situation a whole lot, but I don't like playing A5, B5, having my knight go through A7 and completely shut out either. He's dropping a pawn. I guess I'll just go back. I don't know. I was thinking about bishop b4. Maybe. What does this really do for me, though? Doesn't really benefit me that much. Let's just go back. He's landing on his feet, even after dropping a pawn for absolutely nothing. It's quite impressive. Maybe I have to play a6. I'm a little concerned my queen could get trapped. Probably highly likely, in fact. Don't seem to have any really good moves here, despite being up a pawn. I literally don't have any moves. Just kind of shift back and forth. It's very odd. I mean, like Zugzwang. Strange. It's like totally fine after dropping that pawn. Yeah. Incredibly strong player. Again, I don't understand how he can be 2,100 in blitz. He should be like 24. Here, I don't know. Should I sack a pawn or try to grab this exchange? I guess we have to grab the exchange. I mean, objectively. It's no question. Look how fast he is. I mean, how is this guy not 2,400 in blitz? It's sort of inconceivable. Maybe that's the reason I've got a trick like rook a2 there. Wow. Managed to win a piece. Can't believe it. We were in really, really deep trouble there. Damn, dude. He's still coming after me. It's totally freaking me out. I'm like up a rook. Crazy. It's raining again. He finds this tactic with no time left. I mean, whew, man. I don't understand how he's not higher rated. If he can play this fast and this strong, I mean, I was just lucky he dropped a piece there because he was just positionally hosing me. Speed at which he's doing it is sort of alarming. Oh my god. I'm in check. Wow. What a game. Incredible game. He was totally winning, I'm sure. Like, massive compensation. Even after losing the pawn, he's... What did I do wrong here? h5 is not good, apparently. It looks good. I mean, knight h6 is supposed to be better. Plays this move h3, and it looks like it's actually an improvement on theory. Stockfish says h3 is the #1 move here. Yet Chirilla didn't play it. And he played that like instantly. Clearly the best move for white. I mean, there's no question. Instantly played h3. And I didn't know what to do. White's just better after that. But I'm curious about later on. I didn't like bishop b5. And I thought he was drifting. The engine thinks the space advantage is just, yeah, just good. This was just a lucky moment where he actually sacks his pawn and he has compensation. His position is so good. Rook c2 is better. So I was never really better. Keeps finding best moves. Almost every move. And white's coordination is so good. I should play queen d8, it says, but yeah, okay. This is the moment to play queen d8 and just lose a pawn. Just accept that I'm going to lose the pawn and play a6 and just give it back and I might be okay. Right here, this was a bad move. And now I'm in trouble because I have to waste the tempo. Right. Knight a4. Was knight a4 a mistake? One of the best moves. This was the key position. So apparently he shouldn't have gone into this. Gives away a lot of his advantage. Still. Was a good game. Here I missed rook a2. I was desperately in time pressure. Just rook a2. Winning immediately. Alright guys. I don't know, War Loser. You seem really, really strong to me. I would think you would easily get to like 2350 here in Blitz. Yeah, it seems like a good Carol Khan. And that's why I'm surprised, you know. I think that theoretically it's not supposed to be very good for white, yet he just plays h3 and he's like better, you know. Why would Chirilla not play h3? I mean, World Loser finds it in 1 second flat. I don't know. Okay. We've got chess 960. No knights in the corners. It looks kind of chess-like, the starting position. A7 and A2 are weak points. They could be picked off by something. He's playing F4, opening up his queen. Like our old moderator. The old moderator, same as the new one. No. Alright. Old moderator was sucked into a void or something. I hope that doesn't happen to you, Blue Crow. But that's the problem with the internet. You just never know. People are going to disappear. I'm not going to disappear on you guys. I'm really, it's not fair to tank on the first move. I'm sorry. I really, Actually, they should change that, particularly with chess 960. The clock should just start running immediately. On the one hand, it's not fair, but on the other hand, it is fair because I should be allowed to think. Do I have to make my first move instantly because my clock isn't running? You know, it's kind of a problem. So, I don't like the system. The clock should just start, you know, at some point. What do you guys think about that? Is my queen going to be blocked in if I don't move my f-pawn? Well, I mean, World Loser, maybe you try harder against me than you do in your average game against whoever you're playing. Being inspired to play against a stronger player or higher rated player is oftentimes a big motivator. A lot of people play badly against lower rated players. But you have to take everybody seriously. You should play every player, we were saying like yesterday, like it's Magnus Carlsen. I mean, if you want to maximize your result, probably you have to factor in weaknesses of individual opponents, but you would never have a bad result if you just took everyone super seriously with the utmost respect. I have a tendency to underestimate lower rated players. My last GM tournament, I was playing the lowest rated player in the tournament, a guy around 2295, which by the way, you know, it's respectable and not a shabby rating and not that much lower than my own by like 100 points. And when we reached this position where it was unclear and he had a chance to make a perpetual check, and I thought, you know, that's what most players would do, I was just kind of assuming that the guy would take a draw, you know, because he's 100 points lower. He lost his first round game, you know. Why would this guy not, you know, make a draw by repetition in equal position? But he looked at the clock, he saw he had more time, and he played for a win, and he won. And the thing is, I underestimated him because I thought, well, he's lower rated, you know, he'll be more afraid, he'll err on the side of caution. You have to take everybody, you have to treat everyone with the same amount of respect, no matter what the rating is, no matter what, because if you underestimate people, it's very, very dangerous. I've always done better against higher rated players. Though it depends. There have been periods in my chess career when I sort of specialized in beating weaker players. Playing at the chess club, whatever your chess club is, the club level, you know, if you're one of the best players in that scene, you may start developing special skills. Players who specialize in beating low-rated players are referred to as rabbit bashers. And certain masters are sort of specialists in that. I think even myself. At one point when I was basically making my living, like winning club tournaments for a couple of years, or supplementing my income by winning club tournaments every weekend with $100 here, $100 there, I became very good at sort of becoming a specialist at beating lower rated players. But you really have to keep it in mind that everyone's dangerous. Technically, if you take the time for your opening move, Tanager Man says, it gives white the same time on your time to look over next possible moves, so I think it's fair. Yeah, technically fair. I'm sure that Thibault and the administrators here have thought that through as well. But I know that most people, including myself, especially on the first move, have a tendency to not concentrate that deeply, or really use the time. Plus, you've got a first move advantage. I mean, he doesn't know what I'm gonna play. It's really, he's sitting there like can only like make a guess at what I'm gonna do. So it is kind of tough. Bishop b5, provocative. We want to get really funky here with the ultra hyper modern tricks. He's playing the kind of, what do I want to say, Nimzo Larsen attack. Actually, it's a pretty good Nimzo Larsen attack. I'm playing the Queen's Indian. But to be honest with you, Plucro, I don't know, Bishop b5 is a little weird. I think you should have played, I think you should just play Bishop a6 straight up there. You could make a case that this is just a kind of blatant tempo loss for you. Or, I mean, anyone can make the case. On the other hand, we have an interesting situation now. Am I going to fianchetto my knight? Fianchetto? Fianchetto. Fianchetto. Kind of funky position where we're both playing on our own, in our own little world here. I think my original plan was some crazy knight f5, but what am I doing over there? Oh, Mr. Plucro, what are you doing? Knight e5, just don't develop the rest of your pieces with the same piece twice. I'm just venting because I'm angry and I don't like my position. I don't like my position that much, but he's not going to hurt me by moving the same piece over and over again, probably. If only I could castle, but I have no place to put my queen. Wait, what did I just say? Yes, I can castle queenside, but I didn't really want to castle on that side. I mean, I have a lot of weaknesses. I want to castle kingside now. Castles. Oh, castles would sort out my congestion a little bit here, but I'm afraid it's going to be a bit risky. Alright. I don't really like this. My queen is still boxed in. Very, very positional play by white. No, I'm just kidding, man. I mean, knight e5, it's a reasonable move. It's a closed position. It's hitting some key weaknesses. There, and there. I'm just kidding. It's one of many moves for white that's reasonable. I just like teasing my opponents a little bit sometimes. If I can make you think you made a mistake. Okay, so this isn't a threat. He's just regurgitating his plan here. Did I just say that? It's a cool expression. It sort of makes him sound like a cow. Whatever. I'm getting out of the pin, putting my king on a safer square. We can fianchetto the knight, which was the entire plan, of course. I'm saying this half in jest, but I'm thinking about it. I don't think so, but it is in the way of my d-pawn. It's a tough position. White's clearly better here. This did not work out the way I planned. I didn't want to castle kingside, queenside, kingside. I didn't want to castle over here, the place where my king is currently. I wanted to castle on the other side, the place where my queen is currently, otherwise known as the king side. How Shiva, nice bunny ears. What bugs me is that when I play straight chess, and I'm guessing if my opponent is going to even play when the first move doesn't start. Yeah. Does lichess have a chess insight graph for what? Your average center pawn lost by opponent's strength. That's a good suggestion. I don't think so. What do you think is the difference between 100... So another Freudian slip. What do you think is the difference between IM and GM? 100 rating points. Maybe I should play knight c8, like seriously. I know it sounds like I'm being sarcastic with that comment, but that's like literally what the difference is. 100 rating points. 2,500 versus 2,400. It doesn't sound like a it doesn't sound like a whole heck of a lot, but it's really 100 tough points to get, as I can attest to. Okay, I'm gonna run out of time soon, and we need to get rid of Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight. Oh, Mr. Knight, what are we doing with you? I guess we could kick him out with some kind of crazy knight maneuver, huh? How about knight d5? Is this insane? It's pretty insane. Just giving him c4, knight b4. But that's actually... I'm about to lose on time. I don't really like this move, but we have to do things we don't like in life, and I want to kick him out with f6. Oh, he's actually going to flag too, because this was 5-5, not 8-3. I mean, a lot of people will tell you and make the argument that there are a lot of levels. There should be like multiple Grandmaster titles, probably, because there's so many differences. There's so much difference between like the average Grandmaster, quote unquote, and, you know, someone who's like 2,600, someone who's 2,700. So, I mean, I'm sure that FIDE, in their hunt for money, the Fédération Internationale de Chess, should, you know, eventually get the idea to create like multiple Grandmaster titles. You know, on the one hand, it's sort of stupid. On the other hand, there might be some sort of logic to it. Oh, where am I going? Equalization process complete. And he's just floundering. I wanted to swipe a pawn, but it's not so easy. Can I do this? Take on h4? Not so obvious. What? Say what? Why did you take that way? blocking your own guy. Oh no. Mr. Bill. Oh my god, what am I doing? I'm just panicking. Oh no. I just panicked completely. What? Oh, Plucrow's coming to life now. He is pretty dangerous. I think at the end of the day, though, my king might be safer than his king. far from a perfect game. We both made a lot of mistakes. What? Oh, you can do that. Not really sure if I have enough here. He got the good king position. Whew, this is pretty complicated. Was that a mouse slip? It was a pre-move and I caught you. Pre-moving. The mouse went nuts, I bet it did. I've certainly made some bizarre mouse slips. Looks like kind of a difficult technical win. I don't like b4. But I mean, actually, yeah, I don't really like b4 here. Maybe it's not so bad. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is actually starting to bug me a little bit. His king is really, really active. And despite the fact that I have two connected pass pawns, I'm a little concerned about this hyperactive king. Probably we centralize here. I don't know if king b5 is right or not. I mean, I feel like I should be winning. First, activate my rook. With these two connected pass pawns, although they haven't moved at all, I'm not sure. Okay, let's check him away, and then we go for all the nuggets. So it was just an exchange of connected pawns, basically. I think you've got to find another way there. It wouldn't be surprising if you had a different order of moves somehow. It's a little hard for me to get untangled. We've had this theme a lot lately. It's like the last two streams ended on the same situation. Our last two streams ended on me, basically, in the same spot, creeping forward with two connected pass pawns. You're welcome to help yourself to one of them. But I can't give you both, okay? I mean, I'm not a greedy guy. But you can have one. I try not to be too materialistic. keeping his king boxed out. Number one priority. It's pretty clear now. He's got no king. No stalemates. No fun. Guys, we have another hour of streaming ahead of us. Another entertaining game. We had a fantastic game in the Simul with Pukro. This was really fun. I mean, you've got to be clearly better out of the opening. Somehow I have the lichess Explorer on. But that's actually all you can use for Chess 960. I didn't like this went down, the way this went down. I thought you were better. The bishop b5 was a strange move. But, like here, probably this was a mistake. I was tempted to do this, but I actually interfered with my own piece mobility. So like c5 is the computer saying. I was afraid to weaken my king. Apparently, you're a little better here. Castle's queenside, I think, was a bit over the top. But other than that, I probably played okay. SXPG, Mule Skinner, Bong Ripper, Fly in Sky is, what? He's 2473. It's a new account. We'll have to check that out. I don't mind playing strong player. Wow. Alright. Miot's PM Potato Master, who played me really tough in a blitz game. Just make sure Flying Sky is one of those players who won every single game they've played, which is not usually a good sign. As long as he's not one of those, then we will play. Anyway, I lost my, SPXG, SXPG. Kramnik 1993. Kramnik 1993. Why 1993? Just a random number? Oh, it's raining again. I can't believe it. It rains so much. Funny how you made the comment about Lasker. The comment about Lasker last game. The angry piece. The angry piece effect, we can call it. But how was the last game finally against World Loser? At the end of the day, I didn't have the white squared bishop on the board. I'm going to have to close the window. It's raining here. Okay. We have a skylight, not a normal window I'm talking about, so the rain comes downward onto my head if I don't close the window. Knight f3, c5, and okay, we're going to play an accelerated dragon. Snowed yesterday there. Where is there? Slideshow Bob. Is FM a USA title? No, it's a FIDE Master, and it's international. You have to pay to get a title, did you say? The rules have changed on and off regarding that. There was... I guess it really just comes down to your individual chess federation. I think in the case of certain chess federations, they pass the buck on to you. Like, the chess federation is supposed to pay FIDE some amount for these titles to be processed. And then the federation like passes it along to you. So, like in Hungary, I remember some players complaining they didn't want the FM title because they, the Hungarian Chess Federation expected them to like pay for it or something. And the same thing with USCF, but US Chess Federation. But I mean, the rules or the policies have changed over the years, so I don't know. Bishop e5 was trying to induce c6. Okay, SXPG. I had a game on my simul, on Sunday. Next Sunday I'm going to do a simul as well, 6:30 p.m. 25 players next week. 2 days ago I played a tournament game in the morning. I was pretty tired, so we played just 20 players on Sunday. I had a game on Sunday against a guy who played perfectly and then made one inaccuracy and offered me a draw in a clearly better position. Okay, queen d2. This is a highly unusual move, and it might have been played against me by Nelson Castaneda in the U.S. Class Championship in God knows when that was. 1996, I want to say. I tied for first in the U.S. Class Championship open section, where I played Sam Palatnik twice in the same tournament with the same color. After re-entering, I got drunk before my game with Palatnik because I thought I was going to play like a 2,000 player in the first round, and then there weren't enough players for the tournament, and then to my horror, I realized that I had to play a GM with black, and I was drunk, which was fantastic. I tried to sober up very quickly, but it wasn't effective enough, and I went on to lose, and then I re-entered, and then they paired me with Palatnik again, like in the second round of my re-entry tournament. Anyway, I'm just telling this story because I remember this line I had against Nelson Castaneda. In the last round, I had to win with black to tie for first with a bunch of strong players, and I managed to do it. But I had a horrible position. I remember distinctly Castaneda was like clearly better. I think I did something stupid like knight g4 here, and then knight takes c6, b takes c6. I believe this might have been the game. Bishop d4, knight g4, knight takes c6. I could play d takes c6 and go into an ending that looks relatively close. The thing that's disturbing me about this position is what? He hasn't played f3. I should really know this cold turkey. Knight g4, knight takes c6, b takes c6, bishop d4 was like my game with Castaneda, and I think, God help me, I think I played f6 there. It was like, oh my God, I'm gonna like avoid a trade of pieces, and I don't want to trade my dark square bishop or something grotesque. But looking at it, I can't believe I would have done that. Knight g4, knight takes c6, b takes c, bishop d4, f6. Did I really do that? I hope not. I hope it was a different position. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to just castle. But the good news was that they paired me with Palatnik again. This was when like re-entries and stuff like that were being created. They paired me with Palatnik again. Where are we here, by the way? And what is the deal with this order of moves? I drew. I improved on the first game. In a King's Indian Averbach variation, I improved on the theory that I misplayed in the first game, and I almost lost the second time too. I had a king and pawn endgame, and it was just barely hanging on, and I tried to figure it out, and I remember Josh Whiteskin was standing there like watching and watching, and I think he was trying to like subconsciously like tell me the right move because he wouldn't go away. I was almost going to resign, and he was like watching and watching, and I think he just wanted to send me this message like telepathically that because he wanted Palatnik not to win, I think he wanted to tell me that like he thought it was a draw. I mean, there was nothing illegal about it, you know. He saw I was desperate, you know, and thought I was lost, and I think he wanted me to keep the hope alive, and I did draw this king and pawn endgame that was really, really marginal. Funny story though. It's not allowed to pair, I think, the same players ever, even in tournaments where there's like a re-entry system. Only on lichess is that possible. In the lichess arena tournament, is it possible to play the same player twice in the same tournament. I guess there are certain tournament formats where that's possible. But I think Whiteskin might have tied for first with me and a few other players. He beat Yermolinsky, and then they put they put his game with Yermolinsky in the database as if I had played it, so I got credit. I have like +2 against Yermolinsky, but with the Whiteskin game included, it makes me look like I'm +3. F3 is a good move to see. I was actually kind of sorry that I had let him get this whole position without even wasting a tempo on F3. So seeing F3, what are we transposing directly to one of these lines in the, it looks like we're transposing to one of these lines in the normal dragon, no? E5, knight takes c6, b takes c6. God, it's been a million years since I looked at that. E5, take. That doesn't seem right. If I do d takes e4, but something's wrong here. He's a tempo down. S6PG. He's lost most of his games, but he plays very well. He's a credible player. He has a bad score, but he should have a bad score. He's 1,500. I'm 2,400. You know, he's supposed to have a bad score. But the way he's played has been very, very promising, you know, for him at least. You know, I thought he's played credibly. All right, so this position looks equal to me. First things first, I don't want him to develop a monster bishop on c4, so we're going to play this. I think this is probably forced. And I'm sure that I didn't play the right way for black in this game. 99% sure. Why did Whiteskin stop playing? Well, someone just mentioned that he does martial arts or something. I guess he had other interests. He may have been somewhat frustrated, like myself, that he didn't get the GM title. He was very close to that level, so we have that in common, that we both got like fairly high. He got even higher than me. He was like 2480 FIDE, and I was, his peak rating was probably around 2480 FIDE. I got to around 2470, maybe 2463 officially, but a little bit higher. Maybe he was frustrated he didn't get the GM title, but he had other interests. You know, a lot of chess players don't have other interests. So it was a little surprising that he completely walked away from the game, though. He seemed like a decent guy. If you ever get an old copy of one of the last Chess Master, where Josh Whiteskin does analysis of the games, he actually includes the game he lost to me, which is kind of cool. You know, a lot of people wouldn't include a loss, and I'm lucky enough to be the beneficiary of that one. Okay, so I'm trying to induce some kind of weaknesses, and I was thinking maybe using my A-pawn as a battering ram here. Do you think it's impossible to get the GM title? Well, it shouldn't be. I mean, it should be very possible. If I hadn't stopped chess to play poker for 5 or 6 years, I probably could have done it for sure. Now it's not so sure. I really, you know, kind of missed my best window of opportunity. It's really raining now, but I think it's possible. I mean, theoretically, I just need to gain 100 rating points and 3 GM norms. And I think for me, it's a question of financial question and also time, money and time. If I had unlimited resources, I'm sure I could get the GM title. But like most people, I don't have unlimited resources to like travel all over the world. Right now, it would be best to be playing like 100 games a year, and I'm playing basically like 45 games a year since I came back last year. So I think it's difficult, but not impossible. Here we have a couple of interesting candidate moves. There's bishop takes a2, and then he just goes b3, and my bishop is trapped, Spassky-Fischer style. And the other one is winning exchange. I mean, I'm not trying to slow roll him here, but he has a little bit of compensation. It's still not going to be easy to break him down in this position, but it should be a win. Theoretically, I should be able to get back to where I was, like high to mid 2400s, and gain 40 rating points. The hard part is getting the GM norms. I'm pretty sure that the rating is attainable, but I'm not that wild of a player, so I play a very solid style of games. I have a lot of draws. The best way for me to make a GM title would be to like play a lot of really strong players and get quite a few draws and maybe win a few games here and there. John Donaldson did it once in a tournament where I thought he made like the optimal sort of GM norm for my style of play, which was basically I'm not sure this move does anything, but Donaldson played a tournament. I remember one time he never got the title. He had 2 GM norms, or has. He had like 4 draws against high 2600 GMs, and then beat like 5 2200 players. So that's like a really doable sort of result. I think I can beat 2200 players. I can draw a bunch of games against grandmasters. That's probably the most realistic sort of result I could attain. Here against SXPG, this is a typical situation where it's actually quite hard to win up the exchange. His bishops are kind of guarding all the squares on both sides of the board, but it's not easy to find tournaments. I'm going to play in Zalakaros, and that's the kind of tournament where I could get that kind of Donaldson result. But one of the things that favors certain players in a tournament is their rating, and John had a fairly high rating. So I think the first thing I need to do is to build my rating up to around 2450 FIDE. If I can do that, I'm going to be in a better place pairing wise. Like basically, Donaldson got these pairings where he was playing tons and tons of 2200s because he had a high rating, high-ish rating, whereas my rating's kind of low now. So I think the first process will be 2400, 22, 24, 25, 2450, get my FIDE rating up to 2450, and then you start to get better pairings. And I think that's the situation where I can start to have chances for GM norms. Where my rating's at now, I really have to just kind of like take out some 25, 50, 2600 GMs in a row, just sort of rip through a whole bunch of them. It's not impossible, but it's hard to do. Kasparov once played e3. Oh yeah, I mean, he was just trying to avoid book. My personal preference is c3. He just wanted to simply get that nasty deep blue out of its theoretical element. I like c3. I think c3 has I don't know. I don't know why I prefer c3 to e3. e3 is okay. The one move I never really liked was d3, because d3 doesn't have a lot of independent value. We lost Spinal Tap? No, he's still there. He's hanging in. If I get to the point where we can play Spinal Tap, I'm definitely gonna... I'm not gonna stop the stream, even if it's time. Fritz 3. No. Wasn't Fritz 3, dude. But there's a lot of conspiracy theories about that match, and I'm not sure there's not some basis to it. It was very strange. I mean, honestly, the way he lost the game against it, like the final game, it just was too weird. I just don't see that happening. A knight d7, Carol Khan with knight g5 and all that nonsense. I'm not going to rehash it, but I think the conspiracy theorists have a valid circumstantial theories there. It'll never be proven that Deep Blue paid Kasparov to lose, but it's not out of the realm of possibility, for advertising purposes. I certainly, at the time, thought it was very, very possible. It's just an exhibition match, Give me a few $1 million, and I can lose to anybody, I mean, I think at that point, Kasparov anyway was like kind of preparing to end his competitive chess career, so we'll never know, like most conspiracy theories. But I mean, today it wouldn't be a question, with today's computers being as strong as they are. No top player is going to survive a match. They're just too strong. I mean, you could probably win some occasional games and certainly draw a lot of games, but any sort of long match is gonna be lost by a human being. So Muleskin playing e4 here. And it's classical Sicilian. We've had the same line against Constant Change, another player who played us first game today, regularly on the stream. Mule Skinner is actually close to Constant Change in terms of the record number of games played against me. He's up to 90 now. Nice. This will be 91. So Constant Change is maybe your second Mule Skinner. In terms of games played, you guys hear the pitter patter of little raindrops on the ceiling here. But actually, now that you bring it up, what did Fischer say about that match, by the way? Did he go on record? I mean, he must have had a theory about it. He was still alive, certainly. What year was the match? 2000. Sorry, like it was 96? The match with Deep Blue was around 96, wasn't it? If I remember correctly. Fischer might have been here in Budapest. I think he was here in Budapest, actually, at that time. Mule Skinner, honestly, you're venturing out into the wild terrain of the classical dragon with leaving the knight on d4. This is basically one of the most lame ways white can possibly play, but also one of the safest and one of the most frustrating for black to play against. I always thought like no self-respecting strong player would play this with white, but I mean in most lines the knight goes to b3 and then begins the theory of the classical dragon. But looking in the database, there are, quite a few grandmasters who have played this sort of stuff with white on occasion. I only one time ever played this position in a tournament game. Some Italian I I think, played it against me with white, and we had a very, very quick draw. But I mean, if you were black or something, kind of seems like a reasonable defense. But I mean, the idea of the knight b3, which a lot of beginners don't understand, is to kind of keep pressure on d5. The average chess player can't really comprehend like why you'd want to bring a centralized knight, arguably white's best placed piece, from d4 back to b3 at the early stage of the opening. It is sort of counterintuitive, I admit, but there are several important things. I mean, control of d5 and also avoidance of exchanges. This is ultra conservative continuation. I mean, certainly white could play f4 here, and if you had a pawn on c4, you'd have Shamkovich versus me. But you don't have a pawn on c4. You have no pawn on c4. I imagine that's a playable alternative, a little more aggressive for white. These sort of positions exist in theory. I'm basically playing an English opening with colors reversed. Anyway, f3. So my problem with these positions is like if I play rook c8, then they can go knight b3, and my pieces are kind of bottled up. That's number one. Number two, and thank you, Will Skinner, for taking your time and not trying to blitz me, so I have time to explain. That's the other thing why I get frustrated with World Loser and other players, because the other point of the stream is to kind of explain things and try to, you know, make a good forum for teaching chess here and helping everyone who's watching, not just the player I'm playing against, improve, but all the viewers to improve. If the other guy takes some time, I have time to talk about the game, which means I can kind of make an instructional lesson out of it. Playing my rook to c8, although it's natural, first of all, we've got to watch the a7 pawn in some variations, but also he can play knight b3 and maybe bottle me up. So there's some risk involved in doing this, but I think it's okay. I've got to watch for the b6 square too. I mean, there is a small chance that that could become accessible. Just that my bishop on d7 will keep that piece at bay. I feel kind of perturbed that computers are superior to humans at chess. Yeah, I guess it's like one of those things that's, once you accept it and you get past it, it's completely okay. But that stage of accepting it is pretty disturbing. I definitely felt that at some point. Now I moved to the acceptance stage. Or shall we the maybe like deny it and put it in the back of my subconscious somewhere, frustration place. The place where I put subconscious things that just frustrate me. Computers being better than people at chess. Rook d1. Yeah, I mean, Will Skinner is playing like a man who wants to draw against a stronger player, or maybe even induce said stronger player to overextend himself and lose. Just super safe play. I like this rook move. Yesterday I had a student in a similar position. We analyzed one of his games, and he played like rook a d1, and I was like, dude, why, would you play f3 and then move this rook over here to d1, because this rook has no real forward mobility along the f-file once you play f3. If you're playing f4, then it makes sense. Like the rook stays on f1, the other rook can go to e1 or maybe d1, play bishop f3. But if you're going to play a structure with like f3, this rook, where's it going to go? I mean, it's going to have to go out here, and this rook can come over here, maybe, sorry, wrong file, maybe support the c file, or if white could play c4 somehow. Here I think a4, is a move that a lot of people would have already played. Anyway, that's enough chatter. I guess my plan was to play knight a5 here. Knight a5 or knight e5. The big question. The classic dragon formation. But Neil Skinner, there's another point to rook fd1, and that is that he might use that piece along the file. Like, I was actually thinking of a passive move here for white, but it's not crazy, like to play like queen e1, transfer over here. He went ahead and played bishop h6, and when I was a beginner in these type of positions, and I was black, I was oh my god, I've got to play like rook e8 and bishop h6 because, you know, he's going to trade my bishop off. But after playing the accelerated dragon for years, you know, I realized this exchange of dark squared bishops isn't necessarily a bad thing for black, first of all. It's a guardian of the dark squares for white, by the way. And he has a fair amount of dark square weaknesses in his position. So my personal track record hasn't been that good when I do stuff like rook e8 and bishop h8. It's all very, very cool looking, but objectively, just don't think it's worth the inconvenience in many cases. It's overrated, avoiding the exchange of bishop h6 takes g7. That's the point. You know, it is a little bit overrated in many cases. You're the zombie apocalypse. What? All right, guys. I don't know about zombie apocalypse, but something's going to happen here eventually. It's not really an attacking formation for white, you know, and it's more like a Marazzi, you know, it's almost like his pawn should have been on c4, and he's playing the white side of the Marazzi. You know, pawn on c4, rook on c1, b3, you know, and then you don't want to make this exchange because you're just trying to kind of smother black and suffocate them gradually. This is bishop h6 is like it's like an attempt to attack me. And then there's another thing in these kind of positions. Sometimes it's better to play e6 when dealing with a knight on d5. The real question, I think, is how much pressure he has on the open line in this type of position. And here, in this case, it doesn't look like very much. Now, there could develop a problem. There could develop a problem. And then we have to judge that. I have to do some desperate stuff sometimes. Takes on d5 and e6 or something. We don't really want that to happen. So, do I play e6 here, let him take on f6, take with the queen? The problem in that case will be like my d6 pawn being a little bit weak. Probably not that bad. Although finally, and then again, we have to look at lines like e6, knight e3 where he avoids exchanges. It's just going to be a very complicated situation, I guess. It's a bad sign when I start looking at moves that drop queens. Like, I was seriously analyzing knight takes d5, e takes d5, queen a5, attacking his pawn on d5. And when I saw that, I was like, alright, you know what? I'm just going to play e6. Because if I take on d5, he takes with a pawn. Oh man, I mean, again, like, haunting me is the first game with Aldisto. Looks like I'm going to sack a pawn there. Queen b4, queen e7. Maybe I have knight c6, actually. There's a lot of tactics that need to be calculated, but he played it very, very safe with c3. I don't know. A really aggressive move is like g5, but it's also extremely high risk. in this position. But I think that Mule Skinner is playing a bit too conservatively. Are you threatening me? Because if not, I could consider the G5. The G5. We have Discover card accepted. At this location. High risk strategy. G5 is a move that tends to get me in trouble. It happened in my last tournament, and oh no. Okay, I obviously overlooked something. But everything's protected. Like, what can he do to me? Yeah, it's just dropped a piece. With a big assault. Queen takes. I'm looking for a direct attack on this king here. I mean, G4 is pretty nasty. He has discoveries. Joking about Discover card. Not a really good thing. I'm attacked on that square. Yikes. Okay, good to know about that. Alright, we best take this seriously. Kind of a panicky move. Just eating my pawns. Alright. Damn. There's some really, really nasty stuff around here. Alright. How many pawns does he have for a piece now? 3 pawns for a piece. This is reminding me of my tournament game. Oh no. Wait a minute. Rock. Coordination looks too strong though. This reminds me of the tournament game I lost last month, but it's ooh. It looks too strong. I almost had a heart attack when he made that move. I was like, what? Coordination is too strong. That was my problem last month when I lost with G5. In the G5 variation. We pretty much got everything here. Whew. Multi-threat. Will Skinner made it a fight at the end, a little bit with the clock there. I don't think he was ever out of the woods completely. We just got lucky though. I'm loading in my piece drop game. Probably this is theory. Again, as I said, some players have played this. This move knight g4, excuse me, whoa. By the way, like, while we're on the topic, this move is a move I hate, knight to g4. I don't understand it. Knight takes c6, b takes c6, bishop takes g4. I think that's just good for white. F3 is pretty conservative. Rodney Perez. Only one game in this position. And what did black play? Now a4 is probably best, restricting me on the queen side. What did black play? Ironically, rook e8, right? He ended up winning. I was just talking about, like, not caring about bishop h6. What does the computer say, guys? b5. b5 is kind of loosening a little bit. Knight e5. This is Stockfish number 1. That's the text move. Yeah, I don't think that bishop h6 is dangerous. Carlos won anyway, but... Alright, Bong Gripper. Bon Gripper. It's Bon Gripper. Alright, Bon Gripper. It's a good gripper. Let's play. We don't have much time left if Spinal Tap is going to get to play. Flying Sky. Uh-oh. Spinal Tap is dropped. He might have fell asleep. I just feel that Mule Skinner played the game a little too solidly. Like he didn't. There was one move, bishop h6, which didn't really feel like it was cohesive with the rest of the game. This one very aggressive move. And I think just strategically incorrect there to play bishop h6. Although still his position was okay. He lost any advantage with that move. However, tiny that advantage might have been. Now, Bon Gripper he's walked into one of my favorite tricks, the old e5. The e5 trick in the Pierce classical. When bad things happen to good people. Sometimes bad things happen to good people, and you're one of them. I suddenly remind myself of a TV character. I'm not going to go into a long story about it. It's a bad situation because e6 and Mr. Knight will be a problem because it's hanging in a lot of lines. You know, that spot, maybe black can play knight here. I think maybe the lesser of the evils, shall we say. Here it maybe just lost for black, no? Because I have knight g5, smothered mate. I have smothered mate. And this position can happen where both sides are castled, and then it's not so bad for black, because then he could go, am I crazy? Yeah, if we were both castled, it still would be bad, wouldn't it? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I guess he just can't take on e6. It's problematicosh. Guys, we have time for at least one more game. Bong Ripper, I know, dude. Like, I mean, what else would he mean? You know, I had an account on ICC, which I used for a long time, Mr. Serious, but then the people would joke that I was Mrs. Serious. That's not even funny, you know. But in his case, at least Bon Gripper is, it's a real word, you know. Irius isn't a word. I mean, that doesn't even make sense, and it was still kind of funny. Knight e5 for black. It's smothered mate of the queen. So he's just losing this piece. We're gonna I'm not going to mess around with that queen. You know, we got this. This is more direct. We'll take care of the queen later, but I want to get... This piece is threatening me. Are you threatening me? Alright, that's it. Now, quick look. His move order is bad. This is fine, but this is a very bad move. Karlamango Oblidas played it once, and Krum Georgiev. Wow, it's hard to believe. Krum Georgiev and Karlamango played this. Karlamagno. Unbelievable. It just almost wins by force. Like, it's just a disaster. This is immediate disaster. Okay. Fly in Sky. Let's take a look at this account. I don't want to play him if he's won every single game, like 100 games in a row. He lost his last one, ironically, against the 2098. Oh, black didn't move. He forfeited in the I Am Tricks Only arena. Oh. Another forfeit? Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. Wow, he actually timed out in the game. In 3-0. He timed out. Well, he hasn't won every single game. He's playing 1-0, so he can't be using a computer, can he? Probably not. Member, new member. You know, well, whatever. I mean, he's probably not a cheater, and he must be a very, very strong player. I mean, to post those ratings. So anyway, I was just making sure, like, he wasn't like a guy who won every single game he played. You know, because that's not a good sign. He's probably a legitimate player. All right, we may lose. It looks like a strong player. 2630, but mostly bullet. 2400. Well, who knows? You know, maybe he's not that strong in long chess. Just a really, really good speed chess player. It's not long chess. I mean, it's 8+3. But when you see that account that won its last 70 games in a row, you can be pretty sure that's something fishy's going on. Just wanted to be on the safe side. Actually, how many games has he played? He only signed up like a month ago. 268. Not so many, actually. This is the main line of the symmetrical English, and I've looked at it quite a bit. I'm not a world-leading expert like John Donaldson or John Watson, the John brothers, but I have played the English opening most of my life. I have been playing this opening since I was like 13 years old. I think that probably black equalizes with perfect play. Now, Flying Sky played an unusual move here. This is new to me. Queen A5. And I'm not sure what the idea is. I mean, obviously there's a queen transfer to H5, and there are a lot of positions where you play Queen A5 in this type of position, but not really sure. It stops Bishop G5. B3. You know, this is what I'd like to do to get my bishop on a long diagonal. Now, interestingly enough, before I lose on time, one last comment. This is a variation that's been getting a lot of play. Queen A5 right away. But that's totally different than not exchanging. I mean, not exchanging is totally different than exchanging on D4, so I don't know really objectively what's going on around here. Okay, kids, what are we going to do? Interesting move. That's why I'm taking a lot of time. I'm encountering a totally new move I've never faced in my life, in a position I played a lot, and it's time to think for a minute. I mean, Bishop D2, Queen H5. Bishop d2 doesn't impress me, but what's my plan here? You know, that's the thing. I have to develop my pieces in a logical way. I don't know. Never saw this before. It's pretty weird. But it's still a logical developing move at the same time. What's the problem with this move? Like I can play c5 or something? Sometimes that happens. c5? It really should be seriously considered. Hyper-aggressive response. We got time to burn. I guess c5 knight g4 isn't possible. Knight e8 is passive, and I can protect the pawn with queen e3. Alright, I don't know, man. I mean, maybe it's just bad. He insta-played d6. So we're obviously in his analysis. I mean, okay. I guess we have to take, I mean, b4, he takes on c5. That doesn't look right. Oh, I see, okay. I was actually expecting knight e8 there. Knight e8 is interesting, you know, I don't know. And I was thinking about bishop f4 now. Obviously burning a lot of time. But I better have something around here. Bishop f4, knight h5. Queen d2. There's all sorts of issues. Maybe we have another way to play. I don't know. What if we just develop our pieces? Screw it. Speaking of our favorite theme, I don't know. Bishop f4, rook d4, e3. One nice thing is that the bishop on g2 is active and keeping him thinking, at least, about that pawn. I'm going to try to play, you know, without getting down to my increment, you know, keeping a little bit of time left. How long did you play chess? Water pipe grasper. After encountering this kind of novelty, I feel, you know, I feel a little bit what should I say? It's disturbing, you know. We're going to grab this pawn at some point. What's the plan? does that even help me? Yeah, we can't let him take on d1. I'm going to drop a piece there. Knight e4. I was concerned about this rook d4 move again. Against bishop takes b7, he has a number of strong answers. I guess we'll grab it. Nah. Knight here, rook b4, e3. I guess we should play this. Try to simplify. I mean, it feels like black has the initiative here. I mean, I don't know anything about this player. My assumption is that he's not getting assistance. He plays 1-0. But anything's possible. You know, he plays really strong. Could be a very strong player. That would be my assumption. He'd have to be very, very strong. How quickly he's playing, it's sort of disturbing. Title player, I mean, it would have to be. But not just a title player, like a GM or something. 2300 Ultra Bullet, like is he number 1 in Ultra Bullet or something? Okay, it's one game, so you can't really like... He comes at me with this novelty and then plays the whole game in 1 minute, basically. It's pretty interesting. Unclear, you know. Should be a GM or strong IM. Or other powerful entity. What is this e4 you guys were talking about? Obviously I made a bad move, you know, out of the opening after the initial like position with the key position with rook d8. Not that rook d8, the other rook d8. In this moment, I guess, someone was mentioning e4, but I don't really like that there. My original intention was bishop f4, but then I bailed because of knight h5, but I think I made a mistake, because then I have pawn takes e7. I spaced on that. Bishop f4, knight h5 is no good because of d takes e, and that's what I missed. So bishop f4 looks like the try. And now I'm fighting for a draw, basically. His pieces are a little bit more active than mine. Guys, it might be the last game for today. We're up to 12:30. There's no... We'll see how the time plays out. If we're over 12:30, I'm going to stop the stream with this one. He's really tanking here. Tank you. Just piece play, no pawn play. Okay, this variation is easy enough to memorize. Yeah, I figured something like this. Or I have to play queen c1. Do I have to play queen c1? Kind of looks forced. So I'm not sure. It's likely I'm going to be dropping a pawn around here. Maybe not. Whew. Tactical posizione. My bishop's hanging, so you better come up with a good suggestion, huh? The bishop's hanging. What am I supposed to do? It's like virtually perfect tactically. Could be an engine, it could be a real player. I have no way of knowing. But I'm toast here. Alright. Let's check the analysis engine. See how many mistakes he made. Queen A5 is like virtually unplayed. Yeah, it's not even a move. This is a TN. Interesting move. And he instantly played preparation. And instantly played stockfish move. And now I failed. I should have played bishop f4. But I missed knight h5, pawn takes pawn, which is obviously good for white, I think. No, it's not good for white. Whoa. It's not. He has bishop takes d4 there. Wow. So I should have gone this way, just queen e3 now. It's not that clear. Knight takes f4. And then takes on e7. I don't know, man. I mean, this guy could be a computer. It's very likely he's anonymous. But he would be playing computer games in Bullet, which is very hard to do. I have no idea. Like, the computer said he made one mistake. Is this an engine move too? Bishop e6 is not an engine move. Yes, it is. It's stockfish number 1. One of the top moves, yeah. I mean, it's very possible he's an engine. I mean, it looks suspicious, but the game is not enough evidence. One game, no way to know. I mean, this was a bad move. Occasionally we get people trolling us with engines. I doubt that it's an engine because he's playing a lot of Bullet, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible. There are people who are able to play Bullet. You can ask all the Bullet experts on that. Yeah, now I'm basically... Let's see, is this number 1 move? Yeah, it's pretty suspicious. I mean, he's just too accurate, like queen b4 here. It looks suspicious. It's probably... Nah, almost every move was like the first move of stockfish. It said this was in inaccuracy, rook a d8. That's like the number 1 move of stockfish. So there's no inaccuracies. It's just a failure on my engine. He's got no inaccuracies. It looks suspicious. I don't know. I played against him before. This is the guy I beat in King's Indian with white, who was high rated. Possible. I played against him before. Where? It would be a different account. Who's saying that? Protagon. Is that you, Protagon? What do you mean you played against him before? I've never played against him before. This account? The guy played every move like stockfish. Using like 1 minute for the whole game. It's not suspicious. The one inaccuracy is just my computer being wrong. This move wasn't the number 1 suggestion. It was number 2. I mean, if this was a tournament, I'd be pretty concerned. You know, but it's not my judgment about one game. Whatever. I mean, he may be a real player. It's hard to say. I'd keep an eye on him, but if he plays every game like that, it's not a good sign. But He could be real. Hard to say, dude. Yeah, I don't understand. And I won that game. I don't know why Protagon is saying that. I played against him before. I mean, this guy created a new account like a month ago, and he played every move like perfectly. So it's one game though. I mean, if he does this all his games, probably a cheater. So, all right, guys, let's play one more blitz game. Get on a more positive note here. I hate that to be the last game. Somewhat suspicious. All right. Yeah, I would have to analyze all of his games to come up with a theory as to whether he's an engine or not. I mean, it looks a little suspicious, but we can't just convict everyone without a trial. Potato Master played very well against me yesterday. Well, dude, anybody who can play with 0 mistakes is likely to beat Tricks Only and me. We're just mere run-of-the-mill, 2400-ish IMs. But I'm not sure, like, even a top GM is going to be that accurate in an informal game like that. Had this position once before. This is funny. There is a funny trick. How did this go now? Potato Master's line bishop d3 is not considered very good. Played bishop e3. So this is funny. And now knight d7. And now how does he protect d4? He can protect d4. This is the only way. And now check it out, guys. I'm glad we played this. The last time I played this position, the one time I reached this position, I actually didn't see the win. I played e5, and I was slightly better after e5, d5, knight d4. But check it out. Like, this is beautiful. Just winning by force. Potato Master. Yeah, that's what I played last time, Blue Crow. I missed this. 95. Ouch. And I'm not a computer. I assure you. I played perfectly, but I'm not a computer. Guys, we're going to be back tomorrow after this game wraps up. Weird Wednesday, unusual openings. It was funny, like the other day, Tricks Only was asking me why I don't play rated games. Someone should troll him on his stream after his game with that guy. I'm just kidding, though. He seemed like he took it really well. I was kind of mean to Tricks Only the other day, but it upset me. Like I thought he was questioning my fear of playing rated games or something, but that's why. I mean, you got people who do that. They troll you with computers. It's not cool. Alright, so I think this is actually best play according to the engine. When I looked at this game I had played with a random guy a couple of months ago, and I was like, wow, I have 95 there. And you just think, well, this will never happen again, but the sequence in the opening is so logical that it's almost impossible that it doesn't happen again. Walking out into the wilderness. Well, now what? I think this is the position where the chances are that, unlike my last opponent, Stockfish and I are going to have a different opinion on this position. It's a little bit too random for me to find the best move here. 95 seems to make some sense. I like your king position. Yeah, of course, Blue Crow, you have to play d5. So that's only move. Yep. We're clearing the long diagonal. The object of fianchettoing a bishop is to put it on the long diagonal and take things on that long diagonal. But it's instructive. It's not a coincidence that Potato Master and another player who was quite competently rated, if I remember correctly, played into the same exact position. It was a logical sequence of moves. I didn't even see knight e5 the first time I played this game. It's not something you're looking for. It never happened. I never saw the theme before. I was actually kind of put off. I was like, I can't believe I didn't see that, But it's just not, when was the last time you saw that tactical theme happen? I never saw it happen. Maybe if I played the bishop g4, king's Indian on a regular basis, there'd be another position where I've seen that occur, but not in this lifetime. Okay, it's like a double check. Always double check. Surprisingly difficult to find a forced mate for me. I can win assortments of pieces, but I'm looking for mate. I mean, it feels like there should be a forced mate. I'm just missing something. Okay, knight d3 check. King b3. This is the variation where I'm having a little bit of trouble. And I don't see a mate. It's unbelievable. It's impossible. There's no mate here. I mean, it's like ridiculous. Double check. He has to walk out to b3. Maybe this isn't even the best move. I could have just played like queen b5 check, taking his knight. And just for the sake of being a hero. Okay, that's mate in... That's still not mate. Unbelievable. Wow. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's a really bizarre situation. How is there no mate here? It's hard to get him on the white squares. It's really strange. I don't see a mate. It's unbelievable. I guess I can just look at this position until I'm blue in the face, and there's still not going to be a mate, no matter where he goes. B1 is actually safer. I don't see the mate, guys. I'm sorry. I can like win oodles of material. Just gets away. Bishop h6 check would be mate, but he can play like f4. Still no mate. It's crazy. I missed mate in 19. I'm sure I did, but I don't see the real mate. Funny. It's really odd, you know. Like, all my intuition tells me that position should 100% be a forced mate, and there just isn't one. So just collect material. It's so mundane. Such a mundane way to finish the game. Spinal Tap never got to play. E5 instead of knight c1 was called. We're getting close. Finishing him off here. Let's get all the pieces in the game. Guys, we're going to be back tomorrow. Weird Wednesday, unusual openings, Blitz and Classical Chess here on lichess and Twitch. And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. Like and subscribe over there. Oh no. We'll just have to win his queen now. So, well, does it even matter? I really appreciate everyone who's made donations via PayPal, and we can use the extra support for the stream. If you can make a donation via PayPal to my YouTube channel or here on Twitch, much appreciated. And if not, just hang out with us, make the stream more constructive and fun. So thanks, Blue Crow, for doing your part to moderate. What's that? Never mind. I didn't see a force mate there. Just out of curiosity, let me see. Like, where did I miss something here? Minus 17. Yeah, that's amazing. Like, all three of my pieces are right in his face, but there's no mate. Knight d3 check, best move. And then it doesn't matter if he goes to b1 or b3. It's sort of ridiculous. I actually played the best move again. Queen b5 check, king c2. And the computer's just like, yeah, rook c8. That's what I did. Rook a c8. Inaccuracy. And now what? Rook takes c1, knight takes c1, just take the material. It's odd, but not enough for a mate. Anyway, guys, fun game. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, Blue Crow, for moderating. And a World Loser is doing a simul. If you guys want to play against him, he's got a 10 plus 40 simul waiting for players. So feel free to join him, and we will be back tomorrow. So that's it. Check out the YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.